My my fellow people, I promise that will continue. So let me continue where I left off. One of the things that I would like to bring to your attention that caught my attention is that there is rather perhaps no greater tragedy in contemporary Africa than our remarkable ability to direct immense energy towards fighting one another while comparatively little energy to next to nothing energy gets to interrogate the historical and structural arrangements that continue to shape our existence. I don't want to sound like a politician because I'm not one, but allow me to give you an example with South Africa. South Africa at present provides a painful illustration of this contradiction. Let me use colonial language for context's purpose or context's sake. A foreigner from across our borders, neighboring countries, be it Lesotho, that is right in the middle of South Africa, or Mozambique, Eswatini, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Namibia. It's difficult for me to say a foreigner, but for the purposes of the language used, a foreigner from these neighboring borders may be projected as the greatest threat to our well-being as South Africans. When we see this so-called foreigner, we immediately, our emotions rise. We get palpitations. Communities mobilize in the strongest way you've ever experienced. Anger intensifies. Threats are uttered. People are harassed. Some even get killed. Businesses are destroyed. Like livelihoods disappear into thin air. Like I said, lives get lost. Entire populations are condemned. If a few people from a particular country behave in a certain way, it is the people from that country. So if a few people from Lesotho or from Zimbabwe or from Mozambique does something, then Basotho, then Mozambican, then Zimbabweans. Africans become, or maybe, let me say it, African migrants become convenient symbols upon which frustrations, disappointments, and accumulated social grievances are projected. Unfairly so. Yet many amongst us appear reluctant to direct an equivalent degree of scrutiny towards historical systems that violently dispossessed us of our land, extracted immeasurable wealth from our land, institutionalized racial and economic inequalities, They established legal, political, and economic frameworks whose consequences remain deeply entrenched within our societies. Insult me all you want, but listen to me first before you hail your insults. I raise these questions not because I harbor hatred towards any nation. I cast aspersions upon no people. I seek conflict with no race. I advocate persecution against no community. Rather, I merely place before us historical realities which deserve transparent, truthful, honest, and fearless examination. For we possess a dangerous tendency to which we wish away history, we wish away truth, we wish away reality. We often behave as though historical events cease to matter when merely because they occurred generations ago, even when their implications far reached us to this day. We act as though the passage of time automatically absolves societies of confronting the consequences of historical injustices, even when they continue to benefit from those injustices. But let me say this: history is not a newspaper. History is inheritance. History is architecture. History is accumulated advantage. History is accumulated disadvantage. History is memory embedded within institutions. History is wealth transferred across generations. History is poverty reduced across and reproduced across generations. History is privilege defended through law, through policies, through governance. History is exclusion normalized through custom. History is power disguised as merit. And may I say that if we are to understand our present circumstances honestly, truthfully so, transparently so, then we must be courageous enough to acknowledge certain indisputable historical realities. And maybe let me share a few of them with you. It's a fact that conquest happened. It is a fact that colonialism happened. It is a fact that apartheid happened. It is a fact that dispossession happened. It is a fact that extraction happened. It is a fact that forced labor happened, cultural destruction happened, political domination happened, economic dependency happened, and they are still happening. And although many of these systems have been formally dismantled, or should I say, we are told that they have been formally dismantled, the truth of the matter is their economic, institutional, and social consequences remain visible throughout Africa as I speak to you. Entire communities continue to inhabit spaces designed for their exclusion. Patterns of ownership established centuries ago remain remarkably intact as we speak. The flow of capital frequently flows historical routes. Resources continue to leave our motherland. Dependency continues to deepen, debt continues to accumulate, the poor continue to become poorer, the wealthy continue to accumulate greater wealth and become wealthier. And many amongst us are expected to celebrate political transitions while avoiding meaningful conversations about the material consequences of historical injustices. It seems to me at times that we have become comfortable discussing reconciliation while remaining deeply uncomfortable discussing restoration. We speak easily about unity. We speak eloquently about nation building. We speak passionately about forgiveness. Yet conversations concerning restitution, conversations concerning reparative justice, conversations concerning structural reform, conversations concerning historical accountability, and so forth. All these conversations often provoke immediate discomfort. And you'll see people reacting, including victims. It is as though remembering injustice constitutes hatred. It is as though acknowledging historical beneficiaries constitute persecution. It is as though demanding fairness constitute extremism. And that is not the case. I respectfully disagree. Let me make this statement. In my humble, considered view, I contest that no society can permanently celebrate the inheritance of historical advantage while simultaneously insisting that discussions about repairing historical disadvantage are unacceptable. It can't be. It can't be. No family that inherited stolen property would reasonably expect those dispossessed to remain silent forever. No people burdened by generations of dispossession that was so bitter should be expected to forget simply because remembering inconveniences those who continue to benefit. Justice cannot demand selective amnesia. Justice cannot require silence from those who continue to carry the burden of historical exclusion. If anything, justice requires honesty. Justice requires memory. Justice requires courage. Justice requires difficult conversations. Difficult but necessary. And justice requires societies mature enough to distinguish between accountability and vengeance. For what I seek is not revenge. What I seek is consciousness. What I seek is intellectual independence. What I seek is a generation of Africans sufficiently courageous to study history honestly, to interrogate systems rigorously, to organize responsibly and refuse to become permanent performers within the emperor's circus. Perhaps the most painful observation I have made is this. Many of those entrusted with guiding society appear increasingly content to manage symptoms while leaving untouched the deeper structures responsible for producing those very symptoms. So our people that we call our leaders have compromised themselves, have allowed themselves to be compromised to the point where they've normalized managing their people. over helping their people. And let me tell you this, politicians see these symptoms. They see these realities. Academics see them. Business leaders see them. Religious leaders see them. Civil society leaders see them. Human rights advocates see them. Public intellectuals see them. Opinion makers see them. In fact, many who claim expertise in global affairs understand precisely how these systems operate. Yet too many appear satisfied merely administering inherited arrangements rather than fundamentally questioning and changing them for the better. Too many people promise transformation while preserving structures that continue benefiting a privileged minority. How is that proper? How is that right? How is that correct? Too many have become comfortable within systems they were once expected to challenge. They were once expected to dismantle. Too many have become custodians of the status quo, protectors of the status quo. And perhaps that is the greatest illusion of all. The emperor no longer governs alone. The emperor has managers. The emperor has interpreters. The emperor has administrators. The emperor has defenders. The emperor has beneficiaries. And guess what? Sometimes, tragically, the emperor governs most effectively through those who were once expected to dismantle the circus itself. That cuts deep. That cuts deep. It pains me more than pain itself. Let me take a sip and I'll continue after this.